if this letter finds you, I hope you don't make the same mistake we did. It was the summer of 1990. I was 16, and so was my best friend, Sarah. We found the box deep in the woods near Crow's Glen. Yeah, it looked creepy, old, moldy, and covered in strange engravings. But we were both into horror. Total skeptics. Ghosts and monsters. That stuff only existed in movies and campfire stories. We even messed around with a Ouija board a few times. Nothing ever happened. But this box was different. Sarah said the engravings were in French, and that's how we figured out what it said. It wasn't a warning or a curse. It was just a game that reminded us of the ones we used to play as kids. Of course, we were curious, so we opened it. Inside was a folded piece of thick, yellowed paper. Sarah read it out loud. It said, "Game rules. Read carefully. Always finish the game. Play with a group of friends. Maximum 3 players. Hold the dice after rolling your number. Take 1 step forward when you roll." Sarah laughed and said it sounded like snakes and ladders. We should have closed the box and walked away. We didn't. When we unfolded the game board, we realized it wasn't just some knockoff of snakes and ladders. Sure, it had a grid, ladders, numbers, but the drawings, they were wrong, twisted. There were 3 figures where the snakes should have been, human-like but not. Their shapes didn't make sense at first. Distorted faces, strange limbs, dark stains that looked too real. One of them looked almost like a woman, but something about her made my stomach turn. Another figure towered over the rest, hunched, holding something heavy across his back. And the third, he was too clean, too still, like he was waiting. I didn't look too closely, not then. Something about the drawings made it hard to keep your eyes on them for too long, like they were watching you back. We didn't say much after that. We just took our boards, the dice, and packed everything up. I told myself it was just a weird old game, nothing more, but I should have known better. We split up at the edge of town like we always did. Sarah took her copy of the board and one of the dice. I tucked mine under my jacket and walked home, trying not to think too hard about the drawings or the smell the box left on my hands, like old wood and copper. It was already getting dark when I reached the house. My parents were out, and the place was quiet. Too quiet. I headed straight for my room, dropped my backpack, and pulled the game board from under my coat. I unfolded it slowly, laying it flat on my bed. It looked different in the lamplight. The ink seemed darker, the figures more detailed than I remembered. I didn't know if my eyes were playing tricks on me, or if the drawings really had shifted somehow, just slightly, like they'd adjusted themselves while I wasn't looking. I heard my little brother coming up the stairs. "Anthony," he called. "You home?" "Yeah," I said quickly, folding the board. "Come in." He pushed the door open and looked at me like he always did, half curious, half suspicious. "What's that?" "Found something weird in the woods," I said, trying to sound casual. "Old game. Thought we could check it out." He stepped inside and saw the dice on my desk. "Like a board game." "Sort of." I handed him the folded paper. He opened it slowly, watched the way his eyes scanned the drawings. He didn't say anything at first. Then, "These drawings are messed up." I smirked. "Told you, What kind of game is this? I picked up the dice and rolled one across the desk. It clacked once, twice, and stopped on 4. I guess, I said. We're about to find out. We just played it like normal. My brother sat across from me on the floor, using a bottle cap as his piece. I grabbed a quarter. The rules were simple. Roll, move, hold the dice, always finish. It was quiet. No jump scares, no whispers in the dark. But every now and then the room would feel off, like the air changed. Heavy in the chest, especially when one of us landed near those weird drawings on the board. The woman with the thing in her arms. The tall man with something across his back. And that third one, the clean one, with the dice in his hands. It always felt colder when we got near him. We didn't talk much. We just kept playing. And then, after maybe 20 minutes, we both reached the end. My brother rolled the final number first. He looked at me like, "That's it." I rolled mine a moment later. Landed perfectly. We laughed, high-fived, and packed it all up. Felt kind of dumb for feeling nervous. I slid the board back into the box, tucked it under my bed, and figured that was that. Later that night I tried calling Sarah. No answer. I wasn't worried yet. Maybe she'd gone out or fallen asleep early. She had taken her copy of the game home with her, said she was going to try it solo, just to see. The next day, her mom was knocking on our door. She hadn't come downstairs. Her bed hadn't been slept in. Her bike was still outside. No one had seen her. Police were called. Flyers were made. They said she went missing sometime during the night. That afternoon, my brother said something that stuck with me. "What if Sarah didn't finish the game?" he said, grinning, dragging out his voice like a ghost. Whoa. I tried to laugh, but it didn't land. He noticed. "Hey, I'm kidding," he said quickly, trying to make it less weird, that's all. But the thought didn't leave me. He crawled in, sat there. So we went to Sarah's house. Her mom was still talking to the police on the porch. We snuck around the back and found the basement window unlocked. I didn't feel good about it, but I had to know. Her room was just like she left it. Lights off. Window cracked. The game board still on her desk. We unfolded it. At first, it looked the same. Same ladders. Same grid. Same dark ink. Then we saw it. One of the squares near the drawing of that hunched woman with the wooden baby. There was a new figure there. A girl. It wasn't detailed, just a small sketch. But something about the shape. The ponytail. Clothes. It looked like Sarah. My brother nudged me. "Whoa," he whispered again. "Maybe it's her." "Shut up," I said. But part of me was thinking the same thing. He glanced at the board. "I mean, maybe she didn't finish it. Maybe that's what happens if you don't." I didn't want to believe it, but didn't have any better answers. "Rules are rules, right?" he said. "All games are built around them, but rules get broken all the time. We cheat in Monopoly. We start in Mario. Maybe." He looked at me with that same mischievous grin. "Maybe this game has a way to cheat too." I stared at him. "You're thinking it too," he said. "What if we don't finish the game this time? Maybe, like a glitch." "That's not how it works," I said. "Isn't it?" he replied. "What if she's in there, waiting for someone to come find her, like a cursed princess. He laughed, then reached into his pocket. Huh, he muttered. No way. He pulled out the dice. One of them. When did you? I must have had it since we played. I stepped on it last night when I got up to pee. Thought it was a Lego or something. We both stared at it. He looked at me again, raised his eyebrows. Well, wanna try? And before I could answer, he rolled it. The wooden dice clicked against the desk, spinning wildly before landing on a 5. Then he grinned and tossed the second dice at me. Your turn, he said. It hit my chest and dropped into my lap. I just stared at it. You're serious? I asked. He shrugged. We already played it once. We're still here, aren't we? I looked down at the dice. My fingers curled around it, heavy and warm like it had been sitting in sunlight. It didn't feel like wood anymore. It felt wrong, like it knew what it was. I didn't say anything. My brother leaned back and laughed. Look, nothing's happening. It's just a game, bro. Then he stood up and stretched. Come on, let's go check the woods. Maybe she just tripped or something. You know how many times we've wiped out back there. Don't be so gloomy, he added. We grew up out there. It's basically our backyard. I looked back down at the dice still in my hand. It was pulsing, like a heartbeat. You've made it to the edge. Thank you for walking with me this far. If the shadows whispered something you liked, stay close. There's more. Always more. Let your silence echo back. Perhaps a nod, a mark beneath the veil. Until next time.